Baby, you don't know what you do to me. Between me and you, I feel like chemistry. Hey, it's Hazel, and welcome back to another video on my channel. Today I am of course doing another cast video. Today I decided to, because for some reason I'm in my famous musician era, with my celebrities. At this point, I'm just basically creating a whole dump for you guys. But this is my country star. This is, I think his name, if I remember correctly, is Coleman Clancy. I was gonna say Clayton, but I think it's Coleman Clancy, and I also created him a son. For a little bit of backstory, a little bit of lore. I kind of got bored when I started creating his son, so do with him as you please. But yeah, this is, I'm just gonna call him Cole for short, and his son Chance. Okay, so I kind of tried to keep the CC in the family. Coleman, I don't really believe is a single dad, but he does have full custody of his son. I think his baby mama is probably somewhere else. And maybe like her son sees her like during the summer and everything like that. I feel like honestly, Cole got custody of his son due to the fact that he is famous, so he has a lot of money and everything like that. But Cole is he's staying in Chestnut Ridge. He's not going anywhere. He's not moving. He's not going to the big city. He's not doing anything like that. He'll go on his tours. He'll do his music, produce his albums, do the hoedown, the hokey pokey, whatever you want to do. But he is not leaving his farm. I like to imagine that that farm has been in his family for generations to come. He is not leaving nor getting rid of that land. Which is the problem, which is why I also set him and his son to have a very difficult dynamic, because Chance is, I'm not gonna say he's a difficult child. Chance is a good son. He's very smart. He's a know-it-all. He does a lot of stuff with electronics, so like he helps his dad like when he can't work the TV correctly and everything like that. You know, his dad is kind of old school and everything, so he wants to do tech things. So Chance in my eyes wants to do and live a very corporate life, probably move to either San Myshuno or the suburbs somewhere, and live his corporate dreams, wearing suits every day, being the owner of a big time company, making thousands and millions of dollars every year, and not having to really worry about picking crops and growing a garden and anything like, and take care of horses and anything like that. I feel like Chance is, he wants a different life. He wants a more, for him, I guess, a more modernized life, if that's the word for it. I'm not sure. But his dad is not letting go of this ranch, and if something were to happen to this ranch is going down, is getting passed down to Chance. I highly doubt that Chance would sell it if he were to get it, because he just knows how much his father cares about that land and that ranch. And like I said, it's been in their family for generations to come. I don't think he'd sell it, but I definitely don't think he'd use it. Maybe he'd rent it out occasionally, because I do know there is one rental spot in Chestnut Ridge, I'm pretty sure. So maybe he'd rent it out for people who want to stay there and experience and everything like that. But I definitely don't think if he were to have the land that he would move back to Chestnut Ridge and experience his old life. It's not the fact that Chance has a problem with like working every day or anything like that. I think he genuinely, I think he genuinely like loves the farm life, and he cares about it, obviously. That's everything he's lived and breathed since he's gonna turn 18. But I mean, he feels like he wants something better, he wants something new. And obviously if your child wants to go out there and experience new things, I don't think Cole is going to stop him. I think Cole is just going to let him be, you know, because that's how it is. You know, sometimes he wants to go out and he wants to explore, and he wants to live a life where he has to work hard, but he doesn't have to do like manual labor in his eyes, you know, like He feels like he's doing a lot. It's a lot on him. I feel like he's probably at the top of his class, so he's a straight A student. Not only is he keeping his grades up, he's trying to harvest crops and make sure the farm animals are taken care of, make sure everything is good for when the winter comes. You know, like he's doing a lot, and I feel like when he's online and when he's working with computers or even playing video games, he feels free. He feels like he could be a totally completely different person. I imagine maybe he has like Discord friends that he talks to or anything like that. I definitely think he's very social. With his dad being a famous country star, it's kind of hard for him to make true friends, and I feel like he knows that. I feel like Chance is the type of kid, even regardless of the fact that his dad is famous, he is the type of kid to probably get bullied if he does not use like that fame to his advantage. But I don't think Chance really cares. He's that kid that like gets bullied and then like 10, 20 years later when you come back to your high school reunion, he's pulling up in like a Ferrari or something like that, and it's not rented. You know, like it's like after so long you realize you don't even recognize this person anymore. And I definitely feel like that's the type of person Chance would be if he were to go back 10, 20 years later to Chestnut Ridge. People would be like, who is this young man pulling up in our town, driving this expensive car, wearing this expensive suit? And you know, it'd be different, of course, but I definitely like their storyline. I definitely imagine that Chance loves his mother, even though they rarely talk. I imagine she probably has like a whole nother family and a whole nother man out there somewhere in the world, which is completely fine with him because he has his dad. But like I said, they do have a very difficult dynamic. I do imagine Cole having a few drinks every now and then, and those two will probably get into an argument about the future and about the legacy and everything like that. And obviously, a Chance would tell his dad, "I don't want this land. This is not my life and my dream to sit up here and continue to, you know, play old McDonald for the rest of his life." Sounded so harsh. I didn't mean it that way, but like I feel like that's how he would pull it. That's not his dream to be playing old McDonald had a farm for the rest of his life. He wants to experience, even if he goes into tech or whatever and realizes that he doesn't love it and that maybe the corporate world is too hard for him. You know, I still don't think he's gonna come back. And it's not the fact that he probably wouldn't just want to face his father and be like, you know, you were right, I'm sorry, yada yada yada. It's not that. I just think Chance doesn't, he doesn't really want this life anymore. He's been doing it for about 18 years. I feel like when he grows up, he's going to try to get a scholarship. I definitely can imagine him getting scholarships and applying for universities behind his dad back and not telling his dad until he like gets accepted into the university. And I feel like his dad would be so mad. Like I can literally sit here and imagine and be like, when were you gonna tell me that you were applying to colleges? And he was like, Dad, that's not the point. I got in. And he's like, no, 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 no. When were you gonna tell me that you were trying to, you know, apply for college and get a degree and everything like that? And he'd probably be like, well, I didn't think that they would, you know, accept me or anything like that. But in my eyes and probably anybody else's eyes, you're a straight A student. Okay, they're gonna accept you. You're probably valedictorian. They're gonna accept you, honey. Like, just like think about that for a second. You know, you're the top of your class, regardless of the fact. Um, but yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like he'd probably stay on a dorm 100%. Um, I feel like he wouldn't want to do school and come back home. He to be honest, if I'm being truly honest, I feel like their dynamic would end up being so bad. I don't even think he would visit his dad for a lot of the holidays and like during his, I think he'd either stay there or like go see his mom or somebody, because Or maybe, you know, like some people go home with their friends. Maybe he'd like go with his friends. I feel like his dad would call him and be like, "Hey, I thought you said you were coming home for Harvest Fest or Winter Fest," and he'd be like, "Oh, I'm staying at a friend's. You know, they were having a get together with their family, so you know, I decided to go with them or whatever." You know, like it's just those things. I can definitely sense their relationship is a bit of a struggle, and I don't think they mean it to be that way. And I feel like, especially like a lot of parents don't see the amount of pressure that they kind of put on their kids. So I definitely feel like Cole thinks he's trying to do what's right. Like he's trying to have his son grow up and value uh family legacies and everything like that. And I don't think it's the fact that Chance doesn't value it. I just feel like he's trying to show his dad that, you know, not everybody is the same, you know, like things are going to change. Things are going to have to change half the time, you know, like he's trying to show his dad that there are other meanings in life, I guess. So a lot of like, even down the line, even if Chance probably was to keep the farmland, that doesn't mean that his future children are gonna want to keep the land, you know. So I feel like this is Chance's way of telling and showing his dad that this is not everybody's dream, and not everybody is the same. Not everybody wants to live on a farm, not everybody wants to stay in a cottage, you know, not everybody wants to produce their own money. Because in Chance's eyes, before his dad was a famous singer, he has to go back and he has to remember as a child the struggle that it was, you know, to keep the bills in the house if they weren't selling enough eggs or milk or the wool off of the, what's it, the llamas. Yeah, the you know, like he has to go back and he has to remember that they were struggling before his dad looked at it and decided that he was actually good at singing. And so before his dad got signed on, they were going through some things, and you know, every once in a while they probably their lights and their power would get shut off, you know. So it was hard for them. And I don't think for Chance's future that he ever really wants that for his future legacy and his future generations. So while he does love his dad and he does respect his dad, he wants more. And I think that's kind of where, what is it called, like generational wealth comes in, and things like that. Like obviously he could probably sell the land when he gets older if something happens to his dad and make a lot of money off of it, sure. But he knows that that land is precious to his father. He's gonna keep it, but he's not going to really use it per se. But he is going to try to do what he does, do what he loves, and that is work on computers and tech issues and anything like that. And yeah, you know, that's their story. I like how I sat here. I always do this though. Like I edit the video, well, I speed it up anyway, and I just sit here and I push record and I come up with an entire backstory of these Sims just off the back of my head. But this video is coming to an end soon. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. These Sims will be available on my Patreon hopefully tomorrow, if I don't sit and cast and become addicted to creating any more Sims. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys next time. Okay, goodbye.